Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Technical Minecraft Survival Guide. So in this episode I'm going to be showing you how you can make your very own perimeter just like this. Except today I'm going to be showing you how to make a smaller one. This one is like about 500 by 500, the one I'm going to be showing you is less than 300 by 300. So anyway, let's get right into what you need to know. Alright everyone, before we actually get into the video, I just want to mention that I'm sorry, in the beginning of the video I forgot to turn on noise cancellation, so you're going to hear very awful keyboard typing sounds. But eventually I fixed it, so it's gonna be fine later. So first off, some general information and notes before you should actually start making your perimeter. So first of all, where you want to build it is probably the most important choice. So these are the only ones where it really either matters or it's not at a structure. But anyway, in a general mob farm, I recommend you to build it in the desert because you normally don't want those zombie drops because zombies are kind of useless in my opinion, the rotten flesh. So in deserts, you don't get zombies. You might notice you get husks, but husks only spawn when they have direct access to skylight. But if you're building a general mob farm, you're going to have a roof, so there's not going to be skylight, so therefore there's not going to be any husks and no zombies, so therefore you just pretty much get a skeleton and a creeper farm. Next, if you're building a squid farm, you want to build it in the river, and if you want to build a ground farm, either a river or an ocean, depending on what design you're going for. And for other stuff, it's usually either obvious or it doesn't matter where it is. Like for example, for a creeper farm, it usually doesn't matter where it is, and for a witch farm, obviously you have to build it at your witch hut. Alright, so next what I would recommend to decide is your size. So the size that is recommended to be the smallest size that you can make is a 256 by 256 because mobs despawn around 120 block radius around you. So if you make a 256 by 256, if you stand right in one block in the middle, then you're going to have a perfect perimeter. Now the next size, so a bit of a step up, is a 272 by 272. It's not that much extra effort, except you get one extra center chunk to stand in. So this is you'll be able to move around anywhere inside this one center chunk, and it doesn't matter. Versus for a 256 by 256, you have to stay in one block, and one block only. If you move over by one spot, then the rate of your mob farm might decrease, but for 272 by 272 you can walk around anywhere in this one chunk. It's also better for multiplayer because then you could have multiple people with you spectating your mob farm without everybody being in one block. Anyway, the next step up is a spawn chunk size, so 368 by 368, that's because spawn chunks are 23 by 23 chunks. That doesn't matter much because spawn chunks, that's only one spot, you generally don't build mob farms there. So for your 420 by 420 perimeter, you want to put your blaze farm there, and for 528 by 528 perimeter, you use it for render distance 16. So for example, this is a 528 by 528 perimeter. This is going to be for render distance 16. So basically, everything that your computer renders is inside of the perimeter. So basically, it's pretty nice because then, yeah, you don't get anything loaded that you don't want loaded. Anyway, my point is that I'm going to be making a 272 by 272 perimeter in this video, and normally that's the recommended size. Alright, so next you want to decide your method. So anything less than 256 by 256 I would recommend either a 3-directional TNT duper, maybe if it's small enough you could dig it, or you could use a dispenser grid. I personally don't know if a world eater is worth it for a small size like this because at some point I'm going to say that world eaters are too much effort for a small perimeter, but if you're building it any bigger than this, then I would recommend a world eater. You could also use a 3-directional TNT duper sometimes, if it's small enough, but again, for 256 by 256, I think 3-directional TNT dupers take 18 hours to finish, so yeah, I would recommend a world eater for anything bigger than this, and a world eater is what I'm going to be using. And finally, if you are using a world eater, you pretty much have to use optimization mods, so it's basically just mods that reduce lag. So these are my recommendations: sodium, lithium, phosphor, and maybe hydrogen. Hydrogen reduces the RAM usage, so if RAM isn't a problem for you, which for me normally it isn't, then you probably don't need hydrogen. I use it anyway, but you don't really need it. Sodium is better for the rendering engine, so you get a bigger FPS. Lithium is better for the actual core of the game, so you get a better MSPT, and phosphor focuses on the lighting, which right now it's not that big of an issue. And as I said, hydrogen focuses on the RAM usage. Now, things I wouldn't recommend is Optifine, Thallium, and 100% I would not recommend using a vanilla client for world eaters. or a vanilla server. So Optifine, it's not that great of an optimization mod, to be honest. Optifine, I would only really use it if you want shaders or something like that. But for running a world eater, I would not recommend using Optifine. Thallium is just dumb. It, like, fake increases the FPS, so Thallium makes it seem like you have more FPS, but actually just adds more of the same frame in between, so it's just a stupid thing in general. And vanilla, you would either be running at, like, unplayable FPSs, like less than 10 FPS, or your game would just crash, so I would not recommend vanilla. If you're wondering what's on page 6 of my book, I accidentally made another page. So, yeah, it's my bad. Ooh, I just realized if you exit out of it, and then you exit back in, and then it actually deletes that page that you didn't use. That's kind of cool. Alright, anyway, now I think we covered everything that we need. Now I want to show you what a world eater looks like. So today I'm going to be building a desert general mob farm. So I'm going to be going to a desert location that I found using chunk base. You could use anything, you could even just explore. I prefer using chunk base. But anyway, my desert is somewhere around here. This is my nether hub, by the way. I'm probably going to make a piston bolt to this location eventually, but not at the moment. So anyway, yeah, that's the desert biome that I want to be at. And I built it at this Y level just so that I can have it at the same Y level as my nether hub. But anyway, once we pop through here, you will actually realize that this is a very nice desert biome. It's pretty big, and really that's all that matters. What is that piece of obsidian there? Is that like part of a ruined portal or something? I really have no idea what's going on here. Alright, anyway, what you're probably wondering is what a world eater is. I'm gonna go into spectator mode. I'm gonna return back to this location when I finish, just so that it's not any sort of advantage. But anyway, a world eater is basically a flying machine that has a TNT duper at the top, and it goes back and forth, and then the TNT drops down here and explodes right above the ground so that it can destroy all the blocks here. And then at the bottom we have a sweeper that sweeps away all the liquids, so that liquids that are blast resistant, because water and lava don't get destroyed by explosions, they get destroyed by the sweepers down here. And then this machine moves down layer by layer at both ends, and as I said, it's 272 by 272 wide. So first of all, how should you decide exactly where to build this? So just make one chunk, the center chunk, it doesn't matter where. It just matters that as much of the terrain as possible you want to be desert, so that you don't have to be crammed in one spot to have to build your mob farm there. But anyway, that doesn't really matter that much. Just make sure that you get as much desert as possible. Next, what you want to do to get the outer chunks is you want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is going to be the corner of the perimeter. So this is going to be the very corner. As you can see, these are markers from the world eater schematic. And basically from your center chunk you go in each direction like that, just 8 chunks in each direction. And yeah, on this side, just because of how the world eater works, it's a bit sticking out, so this is the 8th chunk, and as you can see it's sticking out a little bit. This is because of how the world eater tiles, and I didn't bother to change any of this limestone because I'm not any sort of expert at limestone, and most people aren't. But anyway, that's how you determine where to make it. Just yeah, it doesn't matter that much. Just I'll show you where exactly to be building your world eater later. But anyway, as I said, the world eater moves down layer by layer, but we actually don't have any space down here. So like eventually the world eater would crash because there's just no space. That's what we need trenches for. And let me remove this schematic of the world eater, or just turn it off. So now you can see that these are trenchers that just make space for the world eater, so that the world eater can move down every layer, not be obstructed by any of the terrain. So this is basically like just an array of TNT dupers that goes back and forth here, and flies around here destroying all of the terrain. So on this end of the spawn chunks we get a wide one, because as I said, the world eater needs space to move over, so that's why over here we have a big trencher, and on the other corner over there we also have a big trencher that it removes this over here. Now you might be wondering what these are for. These are smaller trenchers, and they make trenches over here on this side so that liquids don't spill in from the outside of the perimeter into the inside. If this all sounds confusing, just don't worry, I'll explain it all when we're gonna build it. But anyway, I got the trencher downloads from the Psycraft Discord. I just replaced the rails with dead coral fans so that it works in 1.13. And this world eater, I got it from XCOM's channel actually, because he and XYOR, they made a world eater that actually can't crash. Because before you had to actively be on the watch for obsidian, otherwise the sweepers down here would crash and they wouldn't reach the other side. But now we have a new system that XYR and XCOM designed so that if one of these trenchers doesn't make it back, the machine stops. So like, if one of them gets stuck on, for example, this portal here, say I forgot to remove this portal, and one of those sweepers got stuck, then when it goes over here, then it wouldn't actually activate it. So this line in the back basically ensures that all of the sweepers made it back, and it will only turn on the world eater to continue after all of our sweepers actually made it back. So anyway, I'm gonna leave a link to XCOM's video in the description so that you can get a download of this world eater. I just expanded it so that it's 272 by 272 wide. It's not that hard. Basically you just copy the bottom section of it over and over, and then you just copy the top section over and over. Or you don't even have to do that, you could just place the schematic and then you could just build on from the pattern, because it's a repeating pattern as you can see. But anyway, let's get started with the trencher. So again, I'm going to remove our world eater schematic, so I'm going to turn that off. And I'm just going to go back into here so that I can show you what the trenchers need. So inside this shulker box are the contents that you need to make all 4 of these trenchers. So this one, that one, that one, and that one. So this is it. And it's not, it looks like a lot, but it really isn't. It'll probably just take you a couple hours to gather up all the materials. I'll be back in a minute. But anyway, I'm just going to take this shulker box and go over there and start building them. So what you want to do is, again, from your center chunk, you want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 chunks. And this is going to be one corner. There's going to be another corner there, there, and there. But this is going to be the corner where I'm going to be building this end of the world eater. And again, if I go to here and I go out that amount of chunks here, so again 8 chunks, then this is where this world eater is going to start. So as I said, the world eater is going to be here. And now I'm going to start building the trenchers. So I'm just going to turn off our schematic placements for both of them. And I'm just going to take out some scaffolding blocks. Maybe I'll actually get some. Alright, maybe something that might be useful is getting some scaffolding. So what you want to do now is, again, at one of these corners, then I'm just going to mark the edge of this corner here, and then I'm just going to click a lot here so that we get a bunch of scaffolding. Okay, that looks like it's about there. Now I'm just gonna disable the schematics for now, and I'm just gonna climb up here until about, okay, so now you're up here at Y120. Now you want to go 2 blocks over with the scaffolding, and you want to go, doesn't matter how much exactly, just a little bit over here. And yeah, we're running out of the scaffolding room, so I'm just gonna do that. Now obviously you should place down your shulker box, and now I'd recommend getting some of your glazed terracotta out here. And then again off, so this is the very corner of your chunks, that's the middle chunk, and this is the corner. You want to go off 1, 2, and from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you want to get out some glazed terracotta. So 1, 2, and 3. So as I said, you can count off here just because of the scaffolding. And then you want to go off 1 here. Now you want to get a couple repeaters from here, and this is the very corner thing, so you want to place 1 4-tick repeater here and 1 4-tick repeater there. Next you want to get a piston and place it right here, facing away from this repeater, so just like this. Okay, sorry, I meant to say this repeater has to be facing away into here, and this repeater has to be facing into the piston. Now I would recommend you to build a bit more scaffolding out here. Yeah, that didn't work exactly. But anyway, now once we got back up here, you want to get a redstone block and use it over here. Okay, basically so that powers that piston. So powers this repeater. I'm just going to go back down there and grab my blocks. Alright, now anyway, from here you want to place an observer facing like this, so that when this piston gets powered, this observer will detect that. Alright guys, before we go any further, I just want to mention that this terracotta is built at Y120, and now I would suggest to go down here and build from the bottom up. So now you want to place scaffolding at Y114 and build out a bit. Now you want to get a slime block, go from the 1, 2, 3, and place it right there so that it's at Y115. And remember again, this piece of scaffolding is at the very corner. Okay, now you want to get some more slime blocks and go out from here. 1, 2, 3, and then you go 1, 2, like this. Now you place one more slime block there. Then what you want to do is you want to go take a cobble wall, place it right there. Then you want to place a detector rail there, a dead fire coral fan right there, and 2 blocks of TNT, one right under the cobble wall and one right next to the cobble wall. And the reason you want to place them in those exact spots is so that when it moves forward, then they get moved right next to the coral fan. And anyway, that's the first TNT duper done. For the second one, you're going to need to remove all of this scaffolding here, unfortunately, because it's going to be built right here at the corner. But anyway, you want to do the same thing. You want to go like this, and then 1, 2, 3, and then off by 1, and another, and then 1 there. A cobble wall right here, detector rail there, coral fan there, and 2 TNT. Again, 1 there, and 1 right there. If I go into spectator mode, you can see this is what it looks like again. Actually, I need to place the minecart there. Yeah, there you go. There's a minecart. Next, what you want to do with your terracotta is go out the back here and at the middle one. So you see it's 3 tall. So it's 1, 2, 3. In the middle one there, so the second one, place terracotta and go back around like that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of terracotta. Obviously glazed terracotta so it doesn't stick to the... Next, what you want to do is take a sticky piston and go out here and place a sticky piston right there so that it's basically gonna be 1 block away from there. It doesn't matter how you do that, it just needs to be pointing into there. Next, you want to place one more right there so that it's pointing into this one. I have to say I recommend using Tweakaroo for pretty much anything here, and you don't need this anymore there. But Tweakaroo really helps a lot for this sort of stuff. Next, you want to get up here and onto one of those pistons, and you want to place some slime blocks connecting them like this. Next, you want to place 2 observers facing into the piston so that they would be powering them. See, you can see the face, and another one like that. And you also want to place a dropper there, just so that it stops it when it comes back. Next, you want to take another sticky piston and place it there so that it's going to be grabbing this whole section. Next, here you want to make a sort of Tetris shape out of the slime blocks like that. Next, you want to somehow get up here, just so that you can place some observers. You want to place 1 observer there so that it'd be powering the sticky piston there, and you want to place 1 observer here, as if it would be powering this redstone block. Obviously it's not. Right, next you want to place a sticky piston like that, a sticky piston like this so that it's facing like that. Next you want another sticky piston like this, I said like this. Like that. Next you want an observer, and this sticky piston is going to be having that observer. And next you want 3 slime blocks and place them like this so that they're all connecting. Next you want 2 sticky pistons like that. They don't have to be sticky pistons actually, it's just sticky in the schematic. That's just so that they update these pistons. Next you want a slime block, a redstone block, an observer, and a dropper right there so that you complete the 9 game tick engine. Next you want to go out here, and from this cobble wall you want to go out 1, 2. Now you're gonna want to go 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You should notice that it matches up with this chunk border here, and now you want to place 1 more like that. And this is actually the whole thing completed. If I just turn on the schematic again, then you can see aside from some of these blocks that I have here lying around, this is actually the whole thing 100% done. Now if you're wondering how to activate that, you just place any block here that would be powerable, and you just place it right here. Now you can't actually launch it yet, okay? That's important. You have to build all of them before you can launch it, so that this has something to bump against at the other corner. But anyway, I'm just going to take down this scaffolding because we don't need it anymore. But anyway, yeah, once you're done with this, then we're going to move on to the other corners. Alright guys, so now that we built that one, now we have to build the other 4. So now, that one was a small one, now we have to build a big one. So it's always going to alternate with the corners, small and then big and then small and then big. So now we're going to build our big one over there. So as I said, this is the center chunk. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is our corner chunk, and this is where we're going to be building the big trencher. So there was a small trencher, now this is the big trencher, because this trencher is going to go back and forth here. So it's going to go all the way there and going to make a big space for the world eater. So now what you want to do is at the corner of I'm just going to build a scaffolding tower from the corner so that we have a reference point that we can all use. Right, so now to build the top big trencher, we want to build up to around Y115, so the scaffolding is at Y114. Now you want to go out here a little bit, just as far as scaffolding will go, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's it. Right, so as I said, that's the center, and this is the corner. Now we want to go out here from the second one, you go 1, 2, 3, and from the fifth one, you go 1, 2, so that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and now here's where I'm gonna recommend you to put your stuff. And now I want you to get some slime blocks. And off to the side here, you want to place one. And you're gonna build the same TNT duping structure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and place another one there. Now you want to get your wall, place it there, and a detector rail, and right there. Next, a coral fan there, minecart there, and TNT there and there. So when I say build a TNT duper here, I'm gonna mean do that. So we're gonna have to build some TNT dupers quite a bit. So now over here we want to build another one like this. Now over here you want to build 3 more, always with 2 blocks of space in between. So I'm just gonna build out a bit more scaffolding right there. And again, always 2 blocks of space in between them. And go out 2. So that's 1 more. Here's another one. And here's another one. So you want to build 3 more just like this. Right, once you've done that, so you should see we have 1 kind of offset into the back. We have 4 all at the same level. Now you want to go off 1, 2, 3 again. And this time you want to go 3 blocks in. And then you want to start building your TNT duper. So this one is going to be at the same sort of offset as this one. I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes, but it was on the Lightmatic, so that's what I'm doing. Alright, now maybe remove all the scaffolding here so that you don't forget later before you turn on the machine, because sticking stuff to those slime blocks may be a big deal. Not that it may be a big deal, it is going to be a big deal. But anyway, now what you want to do is get some glazed terracotta, and off to the side of this one here, like that. I want to place that one, then 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what this thing is going to do is it's going to act as a bumper. If I just go into spectator mode, it's going to act as a bumper for that flying machine. So it goes there, and it's going to self-return back, because that's a self-returning non-game tick engine, which is kind of cool in my opinion. But anyway, now I want to go around the bottom here. So around the back of these, so when these TNT boosters come back, then they have something to crash into. Again, in the middle here, so it's the second one there, like this, and kind of wrapping everything around like that one, and the rest like this. And at this one, you want to, again, do the sort of wrapping around thing like that. Right, the next thing you want to do is, again, with the same sort of thing here, you want to place sticky pistons facing inwards into here, like that. And now what you want to do is you want to get some slime blocks and connect them all. You want to connect these 3 sticky pistons separately, and then you want to connect these 3 separately as well. Not that, just like this. Right now you want to get some observers. You want to face one into that one. You want to face one into here and one into here. I am just realizing right now why this one is offset into the middle here. It's so that the push limit works out, because we need this sticky piston to be on the end here. If we put another slime block and another sticky piston right there, like where lined up with all of those, this would probably go over push limit 12. So that's why we need to make this offset into here, and that means bringing these TNT duper back into there. That's why for any of you who have OCD, that's why they aren't all lined up. But anyway, you also want to place a dropper right there. The orientation of the dropper doesn't matter, it's just an immovable object there. But next, what we want to do is do the same sort of thing over here, just like that, facing into there, and into here, and then a dropper right there. Alright, so again, going to spectator mode just to show you what everything is supposed to look like as of the moment. Now we want a scaffolding block right there, and we want a observer pointing up like that, and another one. Now just jump back onto here, remove that block, and you want 2 slime blocks there. You want 2 sticky pistons, each grabbing each portion. Next you want a dropper right here, and you want a sticky piston from the side of that dropper like that, so that it's going to be pulling these 2 pistons that are going to be pulling this wing and this wing. Next, for the next layer, you just want like that, and another observer pointing in. For the next layer, you want something like this. Next, a piston facing out like that, and 2 pistons, pointing like that, and that. Now, as per usual, this one's going to be holding an observer, and we're going to have 3 slime blocks connecting the whole thing. Next, you want more terracotta, you want to go out here like that, and then like that. So it kind of makes the knight move shape, like in chess. Or next, you want another slime block here, so that this whole thing looks like that. Redstone block there. 4-tick repeater here. Another 4-tick repeater here. A piston pointing out like that. An observer detecting the piston. A slime block there. Redstone block there. 2 sticky pistons there. A observer like that, and a dropper there, and 1 more observer off the back powering that piston. And as per usual, you are going to be activating this machine by placing a block here so that it conducts redstone from here to there. And I have the schematic turned on. You can actually see there's no mistakes there, except for the fact that the terracotta is all placed in the wrong direction, but that doesn't matter. And you're actually done for this big machine here too. So we finished 1 machine there, and we did another machine here. That's just great. Alright guys, so now you've built this one and that one, and now we have to build the other 2. But the other 2 are actually exactly identical to these. The problem is that they're just on the other corners. But don't go building them immediately, let me actually show you exactly where to build them. So from, again, the center chunk, you want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you should see that it looks kind of lined up with that one over there. Right, but now instead of so this is the corner technically of our 272 by 272 perimeter. The problem is because of the way the world eater stacks, it didn't fit inside of here, so it's gonna be protruding out a bit. It doesn't matter that much, but it's just gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the 8th block there, and that's where you should start building your new trenchers. So now anyway, you have to just follow what I showed you before, but except now you have to do it like as if this was the corner. So because this is going to be the corner of our world eater, so now you have to just build everything like as if this new scaffolding tower, which is 8 blocks away, as if that's the corner. So as I said, since there we built a big trencher, now the next corner over here is going to be a small trencher. And then you have to go over here. Actually, it would be better to count from the center again. So you see we already have that one. We have that one. We're gonna have that one. We already built a scaffolding tower there. And then we're gonna go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chunks. So this is the 8th chunk out. This is technically where the corner is supposed to be, right here. But then you have to go off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 blocks, and this is where the big trencher is going to be here. So just go back into the video and follow the tutorial for the small trencher on over there. So again, the small trencher has to be on opposite sides, opposite corners, and the big trenchers have to be on opposite corners. So anyway, I just followed the tutorial, make sure the Y levels are correct, and I'll be back with you when we're done. Alright guys, and we're back. So I finished building all 4 of these trenchers. So you can see that it's alternating, small trencher, then big trencher, then small trencher, then big trencher. But anyway, the next question you're probably asking is how do you actually operate them? Because there's no obvious on-off switch. So the way you actually do that is you go here, and you place some sort of block here. So I'm just going to use a slime block because it's insta-break, so it's really easy to remove it. But anyway, once you place a block there, then this flying machine will start up and it's going to keep going back and forth between here and there. But the important part is that you have to start them all like at similar times, because otherwise this one will crash into that one. Okay, so what my solution right now is that I'm just gonna have this bot here. It's a carpet bot, so you don't need any extra accounts. But anyway, he's just going to be there and he's always going to be loading all of our chunks. So that means we're free to go around here and activate any of these that we can. So I fixed them, the ones that got unloaded, so it's all good now. If I could just land here. See, this is why I need a mob farm, so that I can get some rockets. But anyway, now, as you can see, when you place that there, then that will start going. And now we want to go over here, and we want to place another slime block, like that. And now I'm going to go over to the next one, and place another slime block there. Alright, now we're here, placing the slime block, and over to the next one, where we can place the final slime block. Alright, and there. So now, as you can see, we have all of our TNT dupers running. And yeah, so now I'm just gonna go over here to the center. Actually, I'm just gonna eat first, but I want to show you in spectator mode so it's a bit easier for you to understand what's going on. Basically, these are TNT dupers, and they go back and forth here. And yeah, they just bomb out the terrain below. And yeah, so don't worry about the FPS right now. You're probably not gonna get as bad FPS as I am because I have some other stuff running right now. But anyway, I just realized I placed one of these out here in the wrong spot. So let me just fix this. There. That fixed it. So now everything's in the right spot. So yeah, now anyway, you can just let this run everywhere and it will dig out the trenches. The one thing you have to make sure of is that you're actually clearing out the liquids, because those are going to be a problem. So like this, you're going to have to clear out yourself. And yeah, but other than that, you're pretty much cool for the trenches. So I'm just going to show you the final result once I get these trenches done. Alright guys, so a lot of things happened over the last couple hours. So first of all, you know those sort of like jokes where somebody says that imagine if they forgot to hit record? Well, I kind of forgot to hit record. Fortunately, there wasn't much going on. So basically, I just finished the trenches here and I removed them. So we have this trench, it doesn't go down to bedrock yet, but I removed the trenchers that were here before. And yeah, so there's not anything really noteworthy yet, just that I boarded up some of the stuff here with stone. Some tips is remember to do it a couple blocks away because the TNT wood sometimes does jump over to the side, so you want to make sure that it's far enough away that it's very unlikely that it gets there. Because if water spills in, then the TNT from those trench making machines doesn't actually do anything because water is blast resistant and it protects the blocks under it. One more thing that is kind of important is that this actually will break. Not unless you give it regular maintenance. So let me explain to you what I mean. Basically, because part of the perimeter is actually wider than the rest of the perimeter, so you can see it's not a perfect square. You could fix that technically by making it a perfect square, like extending this out to the side a bit. I was too lazy to bother with that. But anyway, because again, I mentioned before how the World Leader tiles makes it a bit wider than 272 blocks. And the problem with that is these trenchers, since 2 of them are going at a higher rate than the others, then eventually they'll get out of sync, and they rely on being in sync. So these type of trenchers, they're made for square perimeters. If they get out of sync, they'll crash into each other. So that's why it's important to every like 10 to 15 minutes just go around all of the trenchers, turn them off, wait for them all to come back to their stations, and then turn them back on again. It doesn't take a long time, to be honest, to make all these trenches. I haven't been timing it, but I'm guessing maybe like half an hour at most of just non-stop trench running. So maybe, yeah, just for this size perimeter, I would say around half an hour. So you really don't need to do that often, but always just remember like every 10 to 15 minutes, go around at all of the trenchers, turn them off, and then wait for them to come back and then turn them back on again, just so that you kind of reset their getting out of sync. Another thing which you may or may not have noticed is I actually did die, and I'm kind of sad about that because I had 1,111 levels on me. Just kind of a nice round number. I think this time I'm not going to go for something that big, I'm just going to stay at 420 levels. Also, because I died, I actually lost all my items because it took me too long to get back here, and I did have a player loading the area, so all my items just despawned, and I actually kind of decided to clean up the inventory clutter a bit. I'm only gonna keep a pickaxe and an axe on me. I don't think I really need anything else. I guess a sword maybe, but again, the axe could work as a sword, kind of. As well as that, I also have a bow and a flint and steel in case I need to update anything. And my rockets and the minecart for the piston bolts in the nether hub. And inside my inventory, I have some arrows, some ender chests, a couple stacks of scaffolding, and a couple stacks of slime blocks, also pretty much for scaffolding. So yeah, I have to say that it's actually been working for me pretty nicely for now. And yeah, I kind of like having it like this because before my hotbar was pretty much all filled up with useless junk that I pretty much always never used. Now it's pretty much all useful things. So, yep. Also, another thing you may notice is I actually did hit 100 subscribers. So yeah, thank you all for that, but this is not the formal 100 subscriber video. There will be, as per usual, a subscriber special, and this time I got something, again, a bit special prepared. I've been working on it for a while now, but I've only recently started really working on it because before I would just every now and again just come back and make a little bit of progress making that contraption, but now I'm gonna really try to kick things into gear and start getting it working. But anyway, yeah guys, so this is probably gonna wrap it up for this episode because I have to start working on that. But anyway, yeah guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!